It doesn't matter.
No, you're,
Oh, we can. Four, five, zero, one, two.
I think it's low, well, yeah, we can basically,
Well, we can go ahead and get started.
over here.
I just need to pull up the.
How about if I swear you?
I'll let you go. Yep,
You swear from and tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. Sorry, put up my left hand. It's 3, let's call it 350.
Don't call the roll.
Yes, Mr. Parker,
Aye. Present.
Mr. Reeds,
Present.
Mr. Suplet,
Yes.
Mr. Smansky.
Yes.
All right, else, let's start with the approval of the minutes for May.
Okay.
Ms. Parker,
No. No.
abstain or no?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay, Mr. Reeds,
Abstain.
Mr. Suplet,
Yes.
and Mr. Smansky.
Yes.
Yay, does not pass. Okay, approval minutes for June of 25.
Let me find June. Date was.
June 26th. You were.
I got it. Oh, no, I was here in June.
I think you were there in June.
I was in June.
Yeah.
I have it on.
Oh, yeah, you were.
Okay, Mr. Parker.
Yes.
Oh, wait, we didn't get a motion on minutes for May. Sorry, I went over. Can I get a motion?
Motion approved.
And can I get a second? Okay, perfect. And then can I do the same thing for June before I continue roll call?
Motion approved. I'll
Perfect,
second.
perfect. Okay, so Mr. Reeds,
You're,
for June.
yes.
Okay, Mr. Suplet
Yes.
and Mr. Stinson.
Yes.
Oh, yay, okay. Passes. All right, on to July. Can I get a motion for that?
I will second.
Perfect. All right, Ms. Parker,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Suplet,
Abstain.
Mr. Smith. Ah, we almost had it. Okay. Need one second. I can't see any. You need to see. Okay. All right,
This would be COA 2500589.
Correct.
1492 Indiana Avenue.
that is correct. Let's see where the staff report is.
I'm the representative.
Yeah, you can go ahead and take a seat.
Sorry.
I just have to do the staff
Jump
report.
right in.
Oh, you're fine. Okay. All right, so COA 2500589, 1492 Indianola Avenue, this is a request for action. The applicant is requesting review and action on replacing the existing metal catwalk and 2 staircases with a new catwalk and staircases made of pressure cleared lumber. The configuration of the staircases is being modified from existing to include a landing midway. The applicant will not be painting or staining the wood. The submission includes demolition plans, existing conditions, structural plans, elevations, and material specifications. Staff analysis is the University District Plan recommends preservation and rehabilitation of existing buildings that contribute to the district's diverse character, including maintaining character defining features. The proposal is somewhat consistent with this recommendation as the building is being preserved, but the original metal catwalk and staircases are being proposed for replacement with pressure treated lumber. As such, staff recommends continuing the application to allow the applicant to explore either repair or replacement options that would be more consistent with the original existing condition. Yeah, so staff recommendation is continue.
Hi.
I swear you in.
Oh, sure.
You swear from tell the truth, whole truth. That's good.
I do.
Yeah, anything you'd like to add to the city's response to the submission?
I do have some things from the clients, essentially. I think just getting the staff report, we wanted to just comment on kind of reasons we were doing the wood rather than the metal. Right now, it's a lot about constructability, maintenance, and bringing it up to code. So this is just a way to do those more efficiently. They're working with a contractor and they're pricing things out, and it's about 3 times the cost to do metal. And long term, they think they'll be able to maintain the building better in wood. Wood is easier for smaller spot repairs, essentially. If something like is broken or needs to be replaced, they can do it one-off rather than moving all the tenants out that use that second floor to access their space and then redoing it and having to put people in hotels. So they understand the look is currently metal. Right now, it's not fully up to code. It's less safe. So that's important to them. They also were looking, and I think I was talking to Stephanie, there are other projects of very similar aesthetic in this area that, yeah, I think there are a couple addresses. Did she send them to you? Yeah. Yes.
And 65 West 8th. So with
Yes.
McMullen, it was staff approved by a previous UIPRB staff person.
Mm-hmm.
So each person, based on when it happened, maybe approached things differently.
Yeah.
So with Stephanie's case, it's more so just following what the guidelines say right now, because the guidelines do kind of change.
Sure.
And so that's why, like, she brought that up as like, currently with the guidelines, we wouldn't be able to staff approve even that one.
Okay.
And then 65 West 8th, we couldn't find that as a COA anywhere.
Okay.
So that was done without our knowledge.
Got it.
So
Okay.
she couldn't find it
Okay.
anywhere. So, yeah.
Okay. Are you,
So,
Abe?
how is it not find that for?
I think it's the gapping of some of it, just the way I think old railings were that doesn't have that 4-inch sphere issue. So they really just want to bring that up to code as soon as possible. I think it's also having been there for measuring, it's pretty tight up top. Like I don't know how anyone has moved a couch in. Yeah. Yeah. Like I honestly don't know how anyone's done that without like going over the edge. So they really just want to update it, improve it. And I think that they will take good care of it. It is just much easier for them to maintain this in wood than it is for metal. That's basically the end of it. And I think their case was, I didn't find the other examples. They have been looking around, they're active owners. They're like, there are other situations where these are the same, it's the same aesthetic for other buildings in the area. And it's like still, I think, lends to that university character. It kind of has the same feel. It is not like out of the nature for this building to have a wood stair is kind of what their argument was. And I would agree. I think this will look much better than what is there currently. Oh, sorry, I'm Carly, I'm the architect. Yes, yep. So we were just hired by, they're working with a general contractor and we work with him a lot. So he asked us to come help them do all of this because this is new to them.
Do I remember correctly that it is not to be painted?
They do not want to paint it. They want to let it gray out, essentially. And I think that lends to some of their maintenance ability, just to let it not have to deal with like chipping paint and things like that.
No, I didn't have a chance.
Okay.
But
Okay. Okay.
Say one of the notes that Stephanie made was she like the alternate solution for getting from him to beach wood is to conditionally approve it, which may consider first black. So this at least match the current profile. So I wouldn't say that it would actually be black. Yeah.
You just want some kind of finish on it.
And
Yeah.
Like start rustling there. You know what? And
Mhm.
like I have a few railings. I mean, this something like the railings at wood decking would look a lot better. It kind of straddles that ground between. You don't see all the wood up top. I agree. I actually think painting wood is letting this treated lumber, it grades out, it goes away, and the railing is black draws your attention there. Rather than, so that would be something that I would be in favor of rather than necessarily a wood rail. Then wood railings are more upkeep, they've been broken. They just get people chain a blank to it and someone breaks it out and that rail is missing. So I don't know how the other board went, but that's something as a compromise to find that sort of ground.
So you're suggesting a black or some other color aluminum railing, but the pickets and everything.
Yeah, I mean, so it's people laugh on all these ways. You do a wood stair, black metal railing,
Mhm.
holds up well over time. It wouldn't have this powder coated, doesn't need constant maintenance.
Mhm.
I'm curious, what was the quote? So if they had gotten like.
I was asking the contractor, but he did not get it to me yet. But he said he's thinking it's like 2 to 3 times the quote.
Based on like.
Sure. Yeah. Also, it's like the board probably doesn't care what the cost is, I guess. So that's
I guess the only other
Yeah.
concern I have is, are you putting down adhesive like sandpaper strips on the stair treads? Because wood gets wet, gets slick, and I'm just going up and down the stairs and it's.
yeah. We don't have that in the detail right now. It could be something that's added if they have an issue.
Yeah, I don't know.
The metal is very bad right now. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, stuff you could do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, with it,
But this is, you know,
no, I know, that's the same, but so
But
put
if you-
some kind
if
of,
it's
put
gonna
some
work,
kind of,
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of examples, whether it be decking or like launch and then although there's a lot of examples of that, but, I think the only non-slip would be not the stair. Other than that, everything's gonna have some type of,
yeah,
Mhm.
Do you know if the owner would be open to like providing drawings with potentially like, you know, Ryan had mentioned with a metal.
Because I don't know for sure, but I think their goal is the wood. I think I can see a world where, like you're talking about the aluminum railing, they make systems for that are relatively inexpensive. And I think I could probably, I don't want to like shoot myself in the foot here because I'm supposed to, fight for the wood.
that, and
But
I personally.
yeah.
don't think
yeah,
stop that.
Right.
yeah. I think if the whole, oh, sorry.
would you consider a manufactured Trex necessarily, like a composite?
Uh, we have not looked at it with them. They really wanted the pressure treated. I think that,
It's probably more expensive, but I tell you, the last one.
yeah, I think that some concern with the Trex is like the heat it gives off and those kinds of things too.
Color.
Yeah, I think they really did like the pressure treated, just like for what you're saying, like the ability to maintain this thing over a long time. It is like student housing, it gets beat up, so like they can pick up a board and put a new board down, and there's a lot of things there. I think I would have to review with them, but I think the aluminum rail, if it could just be the top rail along the second floor, I can see them doing that linear rail, because I think then that could kind of meet the aesthetics you guys are going through, the maintenance, which is what they truly care about. If all the stair could be wood and then the structure could be wood, that gives them like, yeah.
Yes.
So
Do you know, have to do like
could we just,
There's a lot of- I would say one.
but could we, if I can get them to agree to those components, could we do staff approval, assuming it's an aluminum railing and wood pressure treated stair?
Not mistaken, since it is a condition by the board, it's good to staff it and be staff. If I'm not mistaken, that's what we've done for your project, where it's a conditional approval, and then something that is adjusted, come to us for staff.
Well, if you think there's something wonky, not saying.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I assume like you take notes on what they're requesting. If I have to still go back to the owners and see if they even want to do that. And then if it assumed we were on the same page, could it be staff approved?
Those
Those conditions.
and then staff, aka staff, will look at it, and if it satisfies what you guys are looking, great, we stop with them. If not, we'll just bring it back.
I think the recommendations made by the board are specific enough that they could be staff approved.
Okay, can I just clarify then? So we're still
Yeah,
gonna,
we're gonna
oh,
do, like,
great.
doesn't-
Oh, thank you.
So I also need to write it down.
Okay, cool.
Ryan's like-
Motion. Um, columns and threads, those wood, but stair railings and, the balcony railing. Railing, the vertical pickets. Black. Powder coated black.
Said, black. So just to clarify, motion to conditionally approve the application with the columns, the condition being that the columns and the thread is wood and the stair railing and balcony railing be aluminum with vertical pickets and all of that. The wood, do you want to be also stained or painted black or just
No,
aluminum?
it's just what- I'll second that.
All right, Ms. Parker? Yes. Students?
Yes.
Simple.
Yes.
Decisions.
Yes.
And we're doing this condition to staff.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
lost my screen.
Uh-oh. Can't even find it.
It's being weird tonight. I hit the thing to look at the case and it won't.
Oh, it disappeared?
Yeah.
Did you get it? Or did
Yeah, the main street's, okay, so this is a COA 2500 835 2118 North High Street.
Correct. So, yeah, you can go ahead, Jason. So COA 25-00835, that's 2118 North High Street, and is a request for action. The applicant is requesting review and action on the following proposed material alterations as well as signage for the new tenant 2118 North High Street. That is new aluminum canopy painted Pacific blue on the west elevation, new illuminated wall sign mounted to the canopy, about 11 by 3, new non-illuminated 2 by 10 projected sign on the east elevation, new wall mounted LED strip light at the cornice line in west elevation, change existing single storefront entry door on west elevation to double door in existing basement. The submission includes a site plan, photo elevation as well as signage, canopy and lighting details. Staff analysis is the University District Plan recommends a variety of uses of this location, such as retail, that includes storefronts articulated with three-dimensional architectural details, high levels of transparency, and the use of high-quality materials. The plan also notes that lighting should be high quality and incorporate features to minimize light spillage. The proposal is consistent with these guidelines. Regarding the proposed graphics, the University District Plan recommends wall and projecting signs that are logically placed and fit within the facade of the building. The proposal is generally consistent with these recommendations, with the exception of the location of the projecting sign on the rear elevation not being 10 foot from grade. Further, staff encourages the applicant to adjust the mounting brackets for both sides to go through mortar joints where possible rather than face up the masonry. Staff recommendation is conditional approval with condition being the projecting sign be raised to be 10 feet from grade.
Very good. Can you swear you in?
Yes, sir.
You swear from yourself through nothing but truth.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Do you have anything else to add to the city's?
I think they did a great job with the review. I'm not sure what you know about Seven Brew and us being here. We're having our soft opening right now. We officially open next week for business. We're really excited about being here and being a part of this community.
Is this the first store?
This is our first inline location. So we're typically a drive-through only. So currently in Ohio, we have 22 stores open. We're 400 open nationally. And this is our first one that is a walk-in only
In
location
the nation?
in the nation. Yeah. So this store will ultimately become, copied and reprinted nationally, other universities and major downtowns and cities. So we're really excited. For us, the inside, the outside, all of this project is personal. It's cool. I do these all the time, but to have the niche ones, the nuanced ones, these ones are the ones that mean a little bit more than the cookie cutter ones. I'm the senior director of real estate. Matthew Weymouth. Yes.
Yes, I think. Questions?
I don't know if you guys have had something for this.
Thank you.
Really?
So I'm excited.
Thank you.
I agree with the 10-foot raise of the sign that sticks out on the side, but when I was looking at the sign, I did have a little bit of trouble with that strip. Are we voting on that or no? When I was looking at this earlier, I couldn't figure out if we.
At the top.
Yeah, that neon.
The blue strip.
Yes, that lights up. I didn't know if that was something that.
It is a new wall mounted LED strip light on the west elevation. Is that the west elevation?
Yeah.
Yep, then that would be it. Yes.
I think I really had trouble with that just visually, knowing that it would only be on this one particular building. And just the way that it was light up from the street. I kind of found it a little distracting for the outside of the building with the brick. I didn't realize it looked very clean from an outside perspective if I were to walk by. So that was just a concern of mine, but.
I would say it doesn't. The picture does not do what the intention is in justice. At our other locations, there's the same blue light that's around our canopy. It's capped. It doesn't illuminate elsewhere. It won't even go to the side, the buildings on either side of it. It's just something you can see. When we try to design this, we try to incorporate as many of our regular features that we have on all of our buildings as, forms of marketing, so to speak, attention that draws to us. That's something it's it's important to us, but I understand comment as well.
Nice to be able to see a little bit wider, but I think you get it. This is part of a strip center, right? And having that at the top where no other tenant, it kind of sticks out. And it really does keep in with the street level signage that we're, so that's really the issue that I have with that. That high up.
Is there any way it could be, we could put it in, and if you have an issue, we can take it out? Because I understand and I don't like to use the word, but what the assumption by looking at the picture is going to look like. Unfortunately, I know what the finished product will look like, and it's not what you look at the picture and you see it. I totally get it. It's a brand. Like if you go to any Seven Brew location nationally, you will see 95% of the time that blue light that illuminates around the canopy. I'm sorry. We don't have a canopy here.
No, but that's, I guess, that's where I'm going, is part of the signage, it's not the blue, not that, it's the location that I have there.
It's on the brick crown molding.
And you're gonna see it at nighttime.
In addition, is the photograph right here?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, Tim.
Is the photograph accurate in terms of the color difference in the blues? Because I'm bothered by that. The light and the blue strip.
Yeah, they're trying to show the radiant light as much as they can in the picture and the color. Again, it doesn't. I know it doesn't do it true justice, but when that light is on, the blue awning or the blue fascia that's on the front, it'll be nighttime, so you're really not going to see much of a difference there, and the contrast isn't as strong as the picture shows. They're just trying to show the illumination of it. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, is there, done this on, if I pull up another location, see the color contrast, would that show up?
I don't know on Street View, but if you went to the Seven Brew website, there's probably one on there. It shows the illumination.
Question with that, but you said it's previously part of the canopy sign or the canopy.
Yeah.
You can't incorporate that into the lower canopy rather than up high as an individual element, like, because it's really acting more as a lighting approval than a signage approval. And I mean, because if you see where we go, we approve that and you say it's part of your brand. Well, then the next company can find, so well, it's part of our brand to have an orange light up there. How do we not?
There you go, right there. Oh, sorry. Yep.
So to me, this makes a lot of building.
Yeah.
I get this.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with it being next to other businesses without it coming up.
For us, it's signage, right? And I understand where you're going, but for us, it's signage because it's like the Dunkin' Orange or this is something that you will see as we grow nationally. That is a signage. When someone's walking down the street in the morning and it's dark out and they'll see that, the blue light, that it's, that's our signage.
I guess when I look at it, I'm not exactly, I just don't think it's adequate. I would do, that is being keeping in hand, why don't you put blue stripe right there? Because that's just like your drive-throughs. I get the fact that you got a standalone, you have a big piece, but I think it would be more punchy if you actually put it down here. You don't have space upstairs, right? That's not.
No, it's all open, yeah.
I mean, that's also something that odd, you're kind of renting someone else's space.
Correct. Yeah, there's some difficulties in that for sure.
So to make it work, I wouldn't have any objection to that being bottom, just like your other scene. I think that's, I get it.
Okay.
The blue glow on that.
I think pulling up the other locations kind of shows where it works and why it doesn't work here.
I totally understand where you're going, where you're going. I can definitely take a look and see if that's something that, yeah,
We understand that, Brandon.
yep.
I guess I'm just also, sign is also lit up as well.
Yeah, that's kind of where what my thought was with that a little bit too, but I,
Is it just the seven B?
yes,
The blue part's not lit up, right? Just this is lit up at night.
correct.
In fact, not the walk-through coffee, that's not illuminated either, is it?
I don't believe so, no.
Blue band with 7 blue.
I think it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be better.
Where were you pointing to the strip?
Well, I mean, it's at the top.
Somewhere, okay.
Actually, go back to his,
When I first designed it, you want to hear what my first design was? I had the blue lights going in outside of all of the windows. Yeah, so I thought you might not like that, so I did change it.
go back to the. Okay, so you're at the top.
Yeah, we have it at the top of the canopy and then a top of the structure and the canopy.
Dark blue and then this blue sitting in the fatter blue below. I think it'd be fine. I don't have an objection to that. I think what you're gonna have to work on is just proportion of what feels right for how wide is the light blue
Right.
amber stripe versus the darker blue that's gonna look proportionally.
So I think in my head, I'm just trying to think about if a future applicant comes to us, which is, we always have to think about where.
Present, understood.
Yeah. And they have a sign that's lit up, and then they also want to have another thing that's part of their brand lit up on the building somewhere. Am I thinking of that as,
But I think what we're talking about is one sign that has, it's one
it's
banner.
on the on,
It's well, the sign is essentially there. It's like, here's this part's not colored, it's colored, not colored, and then the setup through sitting. on
Be a
top
part
of
of
it.
this.
And so it's not, I think we have worse precedent, like I said, if we're moving up at top.
Yeah.
And someone just putting a light.
Yeah.
I understand it. Or your.
Yeah.
or in-
What I probably would ask is that we moved forward with the frontage signage and then we came back for the change for the illumination part of it. Yeah, and right now, obviously, I mean, for us opening, it's important to us to get this looking the way that's going to be forever as quick as possible. Yeah.
the banner.
Not the blue light.
So you don't want to continue the strip light for now, you just want to table that and then focus on the other stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think you can approve minus the strip. So
is there any size difference with the size of their logo on the front? Was that another?
No, the only other thing that we were just like conditionally like approving is moving this from 8 feet to 10 feet from grade.
Is there a problem with that?
With this,
With moving it? No, it's not.
I was like, no, but
It's not their problem. No, is there a problem with raising it to 10 feet?
we reached out to the property owner about it. The property owner's response is that it was private property as long as it was in line with his other tenants. He didn't mind where it was.
So I will attest to that. He did speak with, I think, code enforcement, and they said it is private property and it would be fine if it was set to 8 feet. We just have to go based off of that.
I would just be mindful of how this lines up, because I don't really think about corners, but I'm hoping that at 10 feet to the bottom, it's gonna basically align with that. 'Cause it's gonna look weird if it just misses it by this much. You need to be 10, but if it's a little bit over 10, makes it make sense visually, then do that.
There's a sign on the east side that's not shown on that elevation. That is I should know who the tenant is next door. Not the sandwich place, Noodles. I think it's Noodles. And our only intention there was to match the height of theirs, and that's where we've shown it so that you don't have them kind of off. I understand what you're saying, sir. When we designed it, we just tried to go off of what was existing.
Just kind of sticklers about how things will architectural level. Awful, but just
For sure, and we can move it, as long as the property owner is fine with that, we can move it to 10, but it's gonna be offsetting one way or another. It's either gonna be the door or the sign, or two signs, one's up and one's down.
Yeah, volleyball.
This is true.
As well was, putting the signage to the mortar.
So just one quick, are we not approving anything that part
No, we are.
We are.
He wants approval, right?
for the as design?
Yes,
But you couldn't install that and then go to the light later because.
I'd have to come back for it. I'd have to come back again.
So you're saying maybe.
Right now, timing to me is the most important thing. If getting the front of this building,
You would install that sign.
yeah,
Come back.
probably, yeah. The first thing I would do, if I'm being brutally honest with you, the first thing that I would do, if I got this approval, was to go to the sign company and ask them what it would take to incorporate that blue light into the existing design. And depending on that answer would depend on how I moved after that. Whether, and I understand my risk if I have to come back in full for that, completely replace the sign. Correct.
Because I think what's gonna happen,
Scale may not work.
no, what's gonna happen, this is gonna have to get fatter. I mean, it's just, unless you have a pinstripe, it's gonna, which I don't necessarily object to, but it's not gonna be 4 inches anymore. It's gonna be 17 inches.
Yeah.
Because.
I just want the ability when no, understood. And I just want the ability when I leave here that I have the option to do this now, or maybe I come back and say, hey, you know what, I've changed my mind. And there's a different path forward.
As long as you understand you can't add the blue racing stripe without coming back.
Yes, sir. I yes, understood.
And do we have the Skype plate if you know the mountain is?
A black. Cover.
So they cover the bolts?
Yeah, cover the bolts.
Just like paint to match or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the point sign. Okay. Yeah. it's not-
Okay, motion to approve. Station with the following conditions. That blue light be removed, not approved. Flag sign be installed and state and in molded ones. And cover the bolts on the mounting plate.
The 10 feet is a part of the approval.
Yeah.
Even though it's private property. Okay.
So mounting plates, match the things. Okay, do I have a second? Second. Okay, Ms. Bergman,
Yes.
Mr. Reeves?
Yes.
Slipper?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you all.
Good luck.
Appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
COA, so don't start building just yet, because you'll get the COA first, probably early next week,
Okay.
for these items.
Got it.
Agree on
Thank you
this?
very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
That leaves us with staff observables.
I looked over most of it, nothing wonky on any of that.
Good, because I did that.
Second.
Word. No objections. Do I have a motion? Wait a second.
I'll second.
Parker?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Jennessy? Yes. Wow, we did so good. All right, 4:22. Would you like to?
Record time.
Yeah, say adjourn.
We are adjourned.
4:23.
Nice. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Great chat. You have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it away. And it says incomplete. I don't know how it's incomplete. I have so much stuff in.
What do you, I'm sorry, say it again. You have a.
I have a COA